Alleged baby kidnapper charged. 40-year-old Sashana Greenfield, the woman accused of abducting a newborn from her parents at the Victoria Jubilee Maternity Hospital on Monday, has been charged with child stealing. According to the Denhamton Police, Greenfield of Oxford Street, Kingston, was charged on Tuesday. Reports from the police indicated that about 10:05 a.m., Greenfield approached the mother of the child, who is wheelchair-bound, and offered to assist her with the baby. The mother then handed her the baby. However, while talking, Greenfield left, claiming she would return momentarily. The mother attempted to stop her, but she left with the baby and did not return. A report was made and the compound was checked. However, there were no signs of the infant and Greenfield. Later that day, at about 3:35 p.m., police acting on information went to North Holland Lane, Kingston 16, where the baby girl, 11 days old, Kimola, and Greenfield were found. A court date for her is being finalized. Multiple houses destroyed after fire broke out on Cumberland Boulevard in Spanish Town. A number of houses have been destroyed after fire broke out on Cumberland Boulevard in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, Wednesday afternoon. Eyewitness reports indicated that at least 6 houses are affected. Firefighters attempted to extinguish the blaze. No information is yet available as it relates to the cause of the fire. 7 people charged following confrontation with police in Whitehall, Westmoreland. 7 people have been slapped with charges after a viral video surfaced showing angry residents in a brawl after one resident was reportedly resisting arrest when the police went to shut down a party in Whitehall, Westmoreland on Sunday. The main antagonist has been identified as Andrea Brown from Old Hope, Little London. Reporters understand that lawmen had gone to shut down a party in the community when Brown heard offensive slurs at them. In the video that went viral on social media, a man in a black sweater was seen grabbing the neck of an officer while he threw blows at him. A woman was also seen intervening as a tug-of-war ensued. The man is also said to have disarmed one of the lawmen as they rolled repeatedly on the ground. The officers could be seen hitting the man with their rifles while residents shouted and boosted the man. According to Detective Superintendent of Police DSP Mitchell, Brown is still in custody and has been snapped with 9 charges. He is charged with 4 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm, unlawful wounding, resisting arrest, use of abusive and callous language, obstructing the police, failure to move and keep on the moving, disorderly conduct, disobeying a constable, and assaulting a police officer. The DSP said the lawmen were met with force when they arrived at the entertainment event in the community after residents called complaining of noise after 6 a.m. He said the lawmen went and the promoter complied. However, when the lawmen left, the music was back on and the police returned only to be met with force. He added that Brown started to act boisterously and began to use indecent language at the police officers. Mitchell said Brown was warned to desist from doing so. However, he said Brown did not comply. The police, he said, attempted to arrest Brown, but they were met with force as he started to hit the officers. DSP Mitchell also revealed that 4 officers involved received injuries, noting that one has scars below his eye. DSP Mitchell added that more charges will be preferred against Brown. 2 charged over US $70,000 seized at NMIA. 2 people have been arrested after investigators assigned to the Narcotics Division in Kingston seized over US $70,000 at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston on Tuesday. Reports were that about 5:20 p.m., a man and a woman arrived at the Norman Manley International Airport on flight from Turks and Caicos. During security screening procedures, abnormalities were allegedly observed in their luggage. A search led to the discovery of US $39,828 and US $30,460 concealed in jars of hair products. Both suspects were subsequently arrested on reasonable suspicion for breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act. Their names are being withheld pending further investigations. Opposition says it will be monitoring performance of new police commissioner. The opposition People's National Party has indicated that it will be carefully observing the performance of Dr. Kevin Blake as the new police commissioner. Dr. Blake's appointment becomes effective next Tuesday, March 19. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang announced Dr. Blake's appointment at a post-cabinet press briefing yesterday morning. Dr. Blake, who is the Deputy Commissioner with responsibility for Force Development and Logistics, has been a member of the force for 22 years. His appointment as Jamaica's 15th Native Police Commissioner follows the conclusion of what the ministry described as a comprehensive selection process conducted by the Police Service Commission. Reacting to Dr. Blake's appointment, spokesman on national security Peter Bunting said the opposition will not second-guess the commission's selection. The opposition spokesman also reminded Dr. Blake that the Constabulary Force Act gives sole operational superintendence to the commissioner. He pointed out that policy is in the purview of the cabinet, the minister, and in some cases, such as extending a state of emergency, the parliament.
The opposition has noted the appointment of DCP Kevin Blake as Commissioner of Police effective March 19, 2024, and congratulates him on this achievement. The appointment of a police commissioner is a matter for the Police Service Commission, and the opposition would not second-guess their selection. However, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, and we will be carefully observing the new commissioner's performance as the months go on. We therefore caution the new commissioner not to involve the JCF in public advocacy for matters that the Constitution reserves for Parliament and on which there is no political consensus. As we approach an election season, we also remind the Commissioner that it becomes especially important that the JCF behave and be seen as an impartial and professional force whose operations should support the democratic process rather than one party or another's partisan interests.
Uphold, acquitted, or retrial. Attorney weighs in on possible Privy Council outcomes for Kartel. At least two major senior attorneys with no well-known connection to the case believe dancehall artist DJ Vybz Kartel Palmer and his three co-accused will be freed or granted a retrial when the UK-based Privy Council hands down its ruling on the appeal against the quartet 2014 murder conviction on Thursday. According to the attorneys surveyed by the reporters, significant sections of the 64-day trial of the four men breached the accused constitutional rights, resulting in an unfair trial. A decade ago, Vybz Kartel, fellow entertainer Sean Storm, Kahira Jones, and Andrew St. John were given life sentences for their role in the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. 3 years later, the four men appealed their convictions in the Court of Appeal. However, it was dismissed and their sentences upheld. They were later granted leave to present their appeal before the Privy Council, the highest tier of the Jamaican court system. On February 14 and 15, the appellants presented arguments on whether trial judge Lennox Campbell should have allowed telecommunication evidence, which was obtained in a manner that allegedly breached Palmer's constitutional right to privacy, into the trial. Another ground cited for appeal was the judge's decision to not discharge the jury or the accused juror following allegations of bribery attempts. The appellants also argued that there was an apparent rush placed on the jury to return a verdict even after the forewoman had told the judge earlier in the day that the jury could not reach an anonymous verdict. According to the attorney at law Christopher Townsend, the decisions taken by Judge Campbell in the case went against the core mandate of every judge, which is to hold a fair trial. Whenever a trial is in jeopardy or fairness being compromised, there is always a good argument for counsel to say that the trial is unfair because it is in every judge's mandate to hold a fair trial. And so, if there is a complaint and a strong complaint that the trial is unfair, then you can't get more meritorious argument than those presented, and further, we are saying that the man's rights were breached constitutionally to obtain a conviction, then you can't be allowed to break the law either to get what you want, Townsend stated. For those reasons, and the fact that the Privy Council took an interest in the case in the first place, Townsend believes that the decision can only come from two opinions, acquittal or retrial. I believe at this stage that it is going to be one of two. One, they either acquit the men outright or you order retrial, perhaps with conditions attached. They could always say, in light of all of this, it is believed that the conviction was stayed. I don't believe it was, but I cannot presume up on the Privy Council, and they might well come out with that decision. But certainly, the interest that they took in the various arguments and the thoughts that had been certainly suggested that they seem to have been very concerned with the questions of fairness and if their thoughts patterns were to be followed, they seem to be in favor of striking down the conviction at the first step and perhaps ordering a new trial. But whatever happens, it does appear that the conviction will be struck, Thousand stated. As for renowned journalist and attorney at law, Diane Jackson Miller, while she did not indicate on which side she believed the Privy Council will come down, she told reporters that the Privy Council's focus on the fact that the jury or the accused juror were not dismissed following the bribery attempt allegations shows their main area for concern. As a result, she believes the decision will be based heavily on this issue. Whenever you listen to submissions, you take your query from the bench in terms of what it is they are interested in and what are the major areas of concern, and it was clear that their concern were jury points and the concern about the juror that had not been dismissed. So I think we are all pretty much expecting their decision to turn on that. I am not going to try and predict the outcome. We will wait and see what they say, because it is going to depend on what their reasoning is and how they get to their particular position. But I think it's clear that the jury issue was the main issue, Jackson Miller stated. A senior attorney who opted to speak on basis of not being named stated in definite terms that the artist will be freed of his conviction. His opinion stems from the allegations that the telephone evidence used in the trial was tampered with. I remember following up the case at that time when the telephone evidence was introduced and argued. I didn't follow much of it after, but it is clear that the electronic evidence was tampered with. It is very clear, which means that it cannot be trusted, the attorney, who has been in the business for 29 years, stated. My expectation is that Vybz Kartel will be freed because many times we Jamaicans have to go overseas to get justice, he added. All three attorneys suggested that regardless of the Privy Council's decision, there will be changes in the way cases of this nature are handled in the future. I think whatever the outcome of Adidja Palmer appeals, it is something that we are going to have to look in terms of how we deal with the similar issues going forward, whether we need legislative change, as we suggested by one of the lawyers, or just how it is that we're supposed to deal with the situation of attempted bribery so that we don't end up in this kind of situation again, Jackson Miller explained. Thousand added that he expects the following appeal, the way evidence is obtained, will be carefully examined before being allowed into trial. Our jurisprudence is heading in a particular direction whereby evidence that it is going to be obtained illegally, the court might say, no, if you obtain this illegally, then really and truly you can't use it. No, it is what happened. It is going to have a serious effect on how it is that things are viewed as evidence in our country. Because the law is now, however, you obtain it illegally or not, it is good evidence, Thousand stated. So if they come up with this judgment to say that if you breach the man's constitutional rights to obtain the evidence, then you can't use it, this is going to turn jurisprudence on its head, and it will change the thinking of our society and thinking of our police officers who are supposed to be in the prime protectors of our constitutional rights, but feel that they have the freedom of law to breach it, he added. The Privy Council is expected to hand down their decision in the accused appeal at 11 a.m. Jamaica time on Thursday. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.